Namaste, Jai Bharat. Bangladesh was a progressive nation in their own ways, very gradually, and they were consistently making progress, development, and hunger and poverty was slowly withering away from Bangladesh society, taking time. But the entire thing is destroyed. Everything is destroyed. The deep state had their own interest of destabilizing Bangladesh for larger objectives, and mostly the objectives of deep states often fails. They don't gain much, but then they make disturbances. They give trouble to many others, especially that's the destruction of human lives for whatever thing one may need. And they have used the radical Islam as an instrument. I think that they have used the radical Islam as an instrument mostly inadvertently, in the sense that the radical Islam was ready to be used as an instrument by the deep state, so they started acting. They have all kinds of emotions borrowed from all quarters, and they have gone about destroying the very infrastructure of a nation like Bangladesh, and that had been going on for a year. The situation of people in Bangladesh hardly anyone bothers of, and this destruction is fundamentally done by, don't blame the US or don't blame the deep state outrightly, blame the radicals. And the radicals have such mental setup, mental makeup that they don't want to live, or they want to die through jihad. There are some conditions to dying through jihad. For instance, it should not be in the hands of a girl or a woman. Then because they are convinced, they're convinced to do a series of brainwashing or brain programming that this life is really not the real life. This life is a spurious life. This life is a shadow life. And the real life for people start after death. Whatever may be the rational contradiction in, but then it is smooth on their imagination, and that gets sold. So they aspire for a life after death. And once a person gets convinced that life after death is real life, and there are series of promises about the situations in life after death, series of sweet things promised, that after death all these things shall be yours. And the Maulavis keep singing these things, they speak like in a singing tone. They keep singing all those things, and once a person is convinced, there's nothing that stops him from committing suicide. He wants to die in such a manner which could be jihad, so that he reaches the heaven at once. So he makes a situation where he can become shaheed, or where he would perform jihad, and then at once he gets transported to the heaven with all the luxury. So they really are convinced that this life is really not life. Of course, the human life is with a lot of miseries. No matter whatever you have, there are definite kind of miseries and unhappiness and troubles, and they don't want to face all those things. This has a psychological effect of making people lethargic. They don't work hard, because why should they? Their purpose is to die and live there, everything free there. But this kind of a promise destroys the vitality of human, and that's precisely why societies like Pakistan lose the quality of work. The people who set up factories in Pakistan understand the kind of work people do, and those laborers from Pakistan go abroad and work, their performance is also there, visible to people. So these kind of things happen, that promises of rewards. So the radical Islam really spreads such knowledge to people, and they ready to do anything. And there they don't bother about nation, they don't bother about anything, and they are so become egocentric, that is individual centric. All other fineries that people speak of, altruism, humanism, and this thing, that thing, righteousness, and right, wrong, good, bad, all these things doesn't matter. So that lies, there goes to lies, deception, They have a concept of taqiya in Arabic. I don't know whether Arabs are not, maybe really not responsible for it. It comes, it must have come in later. That kind of, you can do anything. Whatever you do here is immaterial. So this kind of attitude, this kind of thing destroys societies. That's why I said radical Islam destroys societies. One case is Bangladesh, which is recent, and the other case is Pakistan with their history. A society had been destroyed. Punjabis per se are very hard-working people, and Punjabis in Pakistan have become absolutely West Punjabis. They don't have any Punjabi character as we see. That's all done by this radical Islams. They make people inert, and invalid. They have no initiatives in them to do anything. There's a story that I heard about the communist situation in China once upon a time. I read it in Reader's Digest of those days. A worker in China is not involved in his work. He gets his bread whether he works or not. See, he goes on time, opens a window of his ticket counter, and then he closes it no matter who stands in front. His work to rule. He just performs. That's all. He's not involved. He doesn't have to smile. He doesn't have to please a customer. It doesn't bother. It doesn't bother who stands in front of him. To that extent, they become mechanical. That's a problem with communism. They create mechanical societies. Though, of course, Marx has a theory of mechanical materialism and dialectical materialism, and he prefers dialectical materialism. Different story. But the society becomes very mechanical. Precisely, this must be happening in such societies where radical Islam has the hold. The society becomes very mechanical. They don't live for today, they live for tomorrow. Tomorrow after death. So they don't live for today, they live to die. They want a legitimate death in their understanding that would fetch them the heaven where they can continuously, comfortably live. So these things don't make any difference. The society gets totally destroyed or thieved of their vitality and strength. Whatever vitality and strength which could be left completely get destroyed. So there's nothing that they should live for because they live to die. And this is how radical Islam destroys. That is such a self-destroying mechanism which destroys many societies. I don't know how many societies still do survive and what kind of survival that is. That's an unfortunate situation in the entire world. It's time that people should address these kind of things. And there's no way that one can educate these people. Absolutely no way. Until they correct themselves. So otherwise, from outside, they're absolutely incorrigible. So radical Islam creates this thing also, apart from creating and maintaining and spreading terrorists who are suicidal or suicide attackers oftentimes. We shall meet again. Namaste. Jai Bharat. Jai Shri Ram.